Hey guys, I'm sorry I haven't been making videos lately. The truth is, I've been going through one of the worst experiences of my life. Actually, I recently broke up with a girl that I really liked, and it was just horrible. I lost, I think, around 4 kilos of weight. I couldn't eat, sleep, or hang out. I couldn't do any of the normal routines, couldn't focus at work. All my friends were gone for vacation, so I was alone, and it really sucked. But it also taught me a new way of thinking. I just had to learn a new way of thinking to pull myself out from this. And what I want to do in this video is share those ideas with you. Just so you know, I've been in self-development for 3 or 4 years now, and I know that when a thing like this happens, so when you have like an emotional trauma, I know how to condition myself to think positively. But I also learned that when you do that, you feel such a huge vibrational gap that it doesn't actually help. It doesn't actually make you feel good. If anything, it makes you feel worse. And so what I learned that actually step one, instead of focusing immediately on the positive stuff, you should accept what happened. It is what it is. Don't struggle to maintain a self-image that it was before, because now it's not like that. You got fucked with, and shit like that happens in life. People are gonna fuck you over. Shit is going to happen to you. It happens to everyone, and you should accept that. You should also recognize that denial, like you denying things that happen, is a normal coping mechanism that is going to go away eventually. And it's good that it's there, because if it wasn't there, you'd have to take on all the pain at once, and it will crush you. This way it allows you to deal with the pain step by step, so you don't have to take it all at once. So step one, acceptance. Step two is do shadow work. If you don't know what shadow work is, I left a link in the description box below to a Teal Swan's video titled Shadow Work, in which she explains it much better than I really could, but I'll give you a hint of what it is. It's actually digging through your subconscious to see what this trigger, so this emotional trauma event that you had was a trigger for your core belief, which fired off in you the negative emotions, right? So since you can't control the triggers are gonna come and go, and you don't really have control over that. You don't really have control over your hormones and chemical reactions in your body, but what you can control is the limiting core beliefs which cause the negative emotions. And if you can change that and intercept that, you can actually affect the kind of emotions you experience relative to the trigger. So what I did actually, if you think of a subconscious mind as a circle, and you think of these core limiting beliefs that cause the negative emotions as the center of the circle, what you will find is, as you keep thinking about it, it's going to be a very painful process, and you're going to go around and around and around, because the closer you get, the more it hurts. But guess what? Once you identify them, once you come to the very core of the belief, you feel this sense of relief, sense of bliss, sense of acceptance, sense of that everything's gonna be alright in the end. You accept yourself for that belief, and it also gives you the personal power to change that belief, and that is the most crucial part. When you remove tumor cells, it's a painful operation, right? But if you leave some of them in, they can fester again and grow into a cancerous thing again, right? And you don't want that. When you do the operation, when you do the shadow work, you want to be sure that you pull out everything. And this is where most people quit, because it's just too painful. But trust me, go with it. Go to the very end. What I found for me was, my core limiting belief was that if I got left for someone else in a relationship with a person I really liked, and I thought they liked me as well, I thought that I just wasn't good enough. So that when people get to know me, they leave because they see I'm not good enough to be loved, right? So that's a very fucked up belief to have about yourself. So I realized I needed to change that, and as I thought about that, it gave me the opportunity to recognize that actually intimate relationships are a lot like business relationships. When two parties meet, a business and a job seeker, right? And what you can do as an employee, you can provide value to that business, and that business can provide value to you. But as time goes by, you may realize that you want to do things in a different way, that you're destined to, you have different aspirations than that business has. And that doesn't mean that the business is bad, it doesn't mean that you're bad, because there are other businesses who would appreciate your work a lot more, and there are a lot of other employees who would probably do a better job at that business than you would. Once I realized that, it helped me to put things into perspective. Also, like if you have say you have like a really beautiful flower, and you have a blind person, right? So you can't blame the blind person for not appreciating the value of that flower, because it's just he's wired differently. He appreciates the sounds of the birds more than the beauty of the flower, right? While some other person may appreciate the visual beauty. And it's just the way things work. So the step number 3 is do the healthy escapism. It helps you get away from these negative loops, which are actually poisonous, because once you've done the shadow work, you figure out what it is, you've changed your core beliefs, but your thoughts form the habit of thinking about the traumatic experience, and you need to change that. The number one technique that I learned how to do this is called neuroassociative conditioning. You can look it up on the internet. It's really powerful stuff. What it actually says is, since your brain is, look up neuroplasticity, your brain is wired in a way that you can change what it associates things to. So when you have this emotional traumatic experience that you like thinking so much about, what I actually did is I trained myself that each time I thought a certain thought, I thought of a dog's vomit. I thought of eating a homeless person's vomit and then vomiting back, and then a dog comes by and takes a shit on that, and I eat that and I vomit that back. And it was just the most gross association that I could come up with. But guess what? Once I got into that negative thought loop, immediately I thought of eating the vomit, and immediately my brain said, fuck that, I'm not thinking about that. And once you do this enough for 5-6 days, your brain just won't go there anymore. Because one of the principles with which brain works is it tends to avoid pain and move to the pleasure. So use that neuroassociative conditioning. That's step 1. Step 2, change your diet. Diet is a really crucial step here. Believe it or not, just changing your diet to healthy foods can boost your mood up to 20%, 25%. And 25% when you've been through an emotional trauma like this means a lot. It's a huge deal. Same thing with exercise. You don't need to go in the gym, lift weights, stuff like that. It's enough that you just take walks. When I recently, after the breakup, I used to take walks to my work and back every day for 45 minutes. It allowed me to reflect on things. It gave me a good cardio exercise, and I'm really thankful for that. The next step, hang out with friends and people who support you. Talk about your plans for the future. Talk about taking trips together, doing stuff you've never done before. Do whatever makes you really happy, you know. If it's writing, open up a blog and write about things. If it's making videos like this, shoot a damn video. You have a smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone, just buy anything and record yourself and shoot videos. If you like taking hikes in nature, do that. If you like taking runs, do that. Do whatever makes you happy. If you haven't tried meditation, try meditation. It's going to change your life. It's literally one of the best habits that you can develop for yourself, for your mind and for your body. Is going to train your mind to be present in the moment. If you're the type of person who constantly have this negative thought loops, what meditation is going to do is going to allow yourself to detach from those thoughts and be in this present space, this present moment, which does not contain any thoughts at all. So not only while you're meditating, but you'll see the benefits in your real life, everyday life. You'll see yourself walking down the street and not thinking about anything, being completely present, enjoying the view around you, enjoying the people who pass by, the smells around you, the sounds that you hear, everything. Another thing, visualizations. Visualize the life that you want to live. Visualize the kind of people that you want to hang out with. Visualize the ideal type of work that you want to do. And visualization is very important. If you believe in law of attraction, it's very important because it's going to help you get to this vibrational state that attracts those things. If you believe in that sort of stuff, I kind of do. It's just my personal opinion. But why visualization is actually really important, because it gives you a picture of what you want. And once you have that picture, your brain or your reticular activation system, if you don't know what RAS is, I suggest you Google it. So for example, when you buy a new car and you see that car everywhere, is because your brain finds pleasure in that car. Your brain is focused on that car, and now it sees that car everywhere, while before it didn't even notice that. So if you don't do the visualization techniques, you won't notice the opportunities that are going to present themselves to you in order to help you reach those things. So visualization, really important stuff. Hey, you know, that's it for this video. I have nothing more to say than this. I'm just going to repeat the steps once more. First, accept denial as well as your friend, which is going to go away eventually, but the main thing is that you accept what happened, because the resistance creates pain. Step 2, instead of moving on to positive outlook right away, do the shadow work so you make sure that when such thing happen again, you won't go through the exact same trauma. Step 3, focus on the positive stuff. Okay, do all of the things. If you're not into self-development, get into self-development, read self-development books. They're full of ideas that you can do to improve your life. And finally, what I will leave you with is recognize that everything's just temporary. Your pain is temporary. Your pleasure, on the other hand, is also temporary. People who come into your life are temporary and they'll go away. Your parents are temporary. Everything you're building is temporary. So practice not being attached to things, because everything comes and goes. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is here to stay. Be grateful that things are here today, because they may not be tomorrow. Okay, don't make the same mistake as I did before to identify yourself with things. Like, do you know the attitude of gratitude? Like, you're the person with this house, with this family, with this job, with this body, but you're really not. There's no guarantees that those things will be there tomorrow. You're not the person with this big house, or the person with this great job, or the person with this girlfriend or whatever, because all of that things can go away. What you should do instead of that is just be thankful that they're here now, because they may not be here tomorrow. And that's going to fill you with real gratitude. Stay strong.